Good morning. It's December 4th, and this is your daily brief in science. Here's everything you need to know. Landspace is pursuing China's first reusable orbital booster with the Zhuque-3, aiming to recover and land the first stage after orbital flight. The company conducted a test around 11:02 p.m. Eastern on December 2nd, year 2025, launching from Zhuquan's Dongfeng zone toward a coastward recovery, and officials described the attempt as largely successful. The mission underscores progress and ongoing challenges for China's private space sector as it competes with established players like SpaceX, blending rapid prototyping with questions about sustainability and mass deployment. Zhuque-3 uses stainless steel propellant tanks for strength and features 4 grid fins and 4 landing legs to support future controlled landings. Industry observers see the test as about 90% successful, with remaining issues thought to be structural, igniter, or engine-related and solvable without years of effort. Private firms in China, including Landspace and Space Pioneer, combine government backing with venture funding, accelerating innovation while prompting questions about competition and intellectual property. The broader implications could include lower launch costs versus current competitors, expansion of satellite networks, and shifts in global space power dynamics and security considerations. Reusable rockets are viewed as a path to lower costs and faster turnarounds, but the path remains constrained by technical hurdles, such as precise timing, thermal protection, and engine relights. Landspace has attracted significant funding and state-backed support, signaling strong public-private backing for its reusable rocket ambitions. A new Nature study warns that megaconstellations with hundreds of thousands of satellites could create streaks and radio interference that degrade data from space-based telescopes like Hubble and upcoming missions. The research uses simulations to show that at high satellite counts, the average number of satellite trails could be about 2 per Hubble image and around 90 per Xuntian image, reflecting differences in field of view and orbital height. Mitigation is essential, the paper argues, calling for coordinated efforts in satellite design, orbital management, observation planning, and data processing to reduce photobombing. Regulators and lawmakers are weighing global coordination ideas such as dark sky zones and binding ITU or UNOOSA guidelines to balance commercial deployment with astronomy. Industry responses focus on shielding, better satellite design, and best practices to minimize optical and radio interference, with ongoing dialogue between operators like SpaceX and the scientific community. Experts caution that impact depends on scientific goals. Some observations can be mitigated by repeating or combining data, but irreversible losses are possible in certain cases. Transparency from satellite operators about location, orientation, and color is urged to help mitigate contamination of observations. The issue is presented as a significant challenge for the future of space-based astronomy, potentially requiring coordinated approaches across missions and operators to preserve observational capabilities. There is an ongoing debate about balancing satellite broadband expansion with preserving astronomical observations, with different missions showing varying susceptibility and mitigation options. The paper emphasizes that space-based optical interference from megaconstellations is likely inevitable, and that fully mitigating effects would require major changes to satellite design, operations, or observatory strategies. An urgent call goes out for scientists and policymakers to address satellite interference to preserve the quality and value of astronomical data from both ground and space-based observatories, with mitigation ideas including shorter exposure times to reduce streaks, though such changes require pre-planned camera design and may not help already launched missions. San Francisco has filed a lawsuit against major U.S. food manufacturers including Coca-Cola, Nestle, PepsiCo, Kraft Heinz, Post, Mondelez, General Mills, Kellogg, Mars, and Conagra, alleging ultra-processed foods contribute to a public health crisis. The city seeks court orders to curb deceptive marketing, educate consumers on health risks, limit advertising to children, and impose penalties to offset local healthcare costs. The filing argues ultra-processed foods are designed to provoke cravings and overconsumption and are linked to diseases such as type 2 diabetes, fatty liver disease, heart disease, colorectal cancer, and depression in younger populations. The case sits within broader debates over ultra-transformed foods, health impacts, and shifting political consensus in the United States. Experts advocate for consumer education and potential labeling reforms, such as front-of-package indicators, to aid informed choices. Background references include Lancet findings on industry influence and a 1999 meeting where major food executives acknowledged potential harm from their products. The Consumer Brands Association contends there is no universally accepted definition of ultra-processed foods and defends reformulation toward higher protein and fiber, while noting no universal definition. The lawsuit is part of ongoing public health efforts, contrasted with the absence of immediate industry responses in this report. City Attorney David Chu portrays the industry as manufacturing highly crave-inducing products that harm public health and calls for halting deceptive marketing and educating consumers. California's efforts to define and restrict UPFs in schools are noted, alongside San Francisco's prior health policies. Representatives for the 11 brands did not respond to requests for comment. A new nasal spray vaccine called BPZE1 shows promise in preventing whooping cough by stopping the bacteria from colonizing the nose and throat, which could cut transmission across age groups if approved. Current vaccines given to pregnant women and young children don't fully prevent carriage or lifelong protection, but BPZE1 could offer broader and longer-lasting protection for all ages if it reaches widespread use. Professor Robert Reed of the NIHR Southampton Biomedical Research Center described BPZE1 as a potentially significant step forward in interrupting transmission of Bordetella pertussis. Iliad's Dr. Stephanie Noviello framed the development as a milestone toward eradicating disease caused by pertussis. UK infection trends show a sharp decline in whooping cough in 2025 compared with 2024, with NHS England reporting 896 cases in the first half of this year versus 15,153 in the same period last year. Public health officials highlighted BPZE1's potential to reduce transmission and provide longer-lasting protection for everyone, not just newborns. The Lancet Microbe Study Champion 1, involving 53 adults, showed strong immune responses in nasal passages and blood, suggesting durable protection if confirmed in larger trials. The trial is part of NIHR backing and Department of Health and Social Care sponsorship, with further work supported by NIHR/NHS and published in Lancet Microbe. Whooping cough starts with cold-like symptoms and can progress to violent coughing, which is dangerous for infants under 6 months and requires urgent care if symptoms arise. Outbreak dynamics in England surged in 2024, with around 15,000 cases and 11 infant deaths, underscoring the urgency of better prevention strategies. Lancet Microbe results indicate BPZE1 was safe and well tolerated, with many vaccinated individuals showing little to no bacteria in the nose after exposure, implying reduced transmission potential. A collective view from public health officials and researchers sees BPZE1 as a significant advance in reducing spread and protecting future generations, with maternal use trials being pursued as part of expanding protection. A new study suggests that the mental health benefits seen in adolescents who own dogs may be connected to changes in the microbiome that influence the gut-brain axis, potentially supporting empathy and prosocial behavior. In experiments, mice that received microbiota from dog owners showed increased sociability, including more sniffing of an unfamiliar mouse, hinting at transferable microbial effects. Microbiome analysis found similar overall oral bacterial diversity between teen dog owners and non-owners, but identified distinct bacterial communities associated with dog ownership. Researchers caution that more work is needed to separate interacting variables and establish causality beyond these associations. While the findings are promising, replication in other populations is necessary, and future work could explore probiotics that mimic the observed microbial profiles. Potential future studies may examine geographic differences in microbiomes and whether targeted probiotics could benefit people without dogs. Independent experts note the difference in salivary microbiomes between teen dog owners and non-owners, while emphasizing that causality and exact mechanisms remain to be clarified. The study notes it cannot determine whether microbial differences come from the dogs themselves or from reduced stress due to dog ownership, and it cautions that human behavior cannot be directly equated with mouse behavior. The report underscores the need for caution in interpreting these results and for further research to validate findings across diverse groups. As the science evolves, investigators will continue to test how microbiomes interact with behavior and mental health, without drawing definitive conclusions at this stage. This has been your Daily Brief in Science. To read more about these stories, follow the links in the episode bio. You can also subscribe to these updates via email at www.brief.news. For more daily podcasts about the topics you love, visit brief.news/podcasts. Tune in tomorrow. We'll be back with everything you need to know.